What you got for them? Huh? What you got for them?
Well, listen, yeah, tell Monk Hill and the rest of them, yeah, money habits, shanking habits, yeah, watch.
It's said that Andre was an inspiring rapper, but his life was taken when he tried to defend his best friend from her controlling boyfriend, Seller. He wanted the girl, who was not named for legal reasons because of her age, to break up with Seller because of the way he treated her. This caused tensions between Andre and also Seller, along with his friends. Andre had lived on a Monk Hill estate most of his life with his mother and his two brothers, but had been forced to move away just weeks before his passing over his family's safety. That girl's boyfriend had posted up a disturbing Snapchat with a knife involved.
What you got for them? Huh? What you got for them?
Well, listen, yeah, tell Monk Hill and the rest of them, yeah, money habits, shanking habits, yeah, watch.
At a time when it was best for Andre to stay away from his old estate, he persuaded his mother to drop him off to meet his friends. It is believed that he may have been set up because none of his friends, all members of the Money Habits gang, were present. Within half an hour of his arrival, Seller and his friends pulled up in a white car. He fled but fell on a nearby road and was leapt upon by at least 3 youths, including one of them who was holding a sword. Andre suffered multiple stab wounds, kicks and blows with a metal bar and bled to death. Despite being rushed to hospital by helicopter, he had been stabbed 7 times to the left side of his chest alone and had passed away. Andre had arrived that night at around 7:15 PM and stood around talking to people he knew, and some children between the age of 12 and 13 of age waiting for his friends to arrive. At around 8:15 is when they pulled up in the vehicle outside of the shop. 2 of the 4 defendants got out of the car and a witness heard one of them say, "What are you saying now?" in Andre's direction. Andre pulled out his own knife but fled for his life. He was chased by 2 of Seller's friends, and after a few hundred meters, Seller also got out of the car and joined the chase on foot. Andre was repeatedly stabbed and kicked and hit with a bar when the gang caught up with him. He managed to aim a few blows at the attackers, stabbing Seller in the back of his head, but was quickly overwhelmed. Over 40 members of public witnessed this killing. The attack was the accumulation of a series of tit-for-tat exchanges, escalating in violence between Andre's friends on one side and Seller and his friends on another. Andre was angry with Seller for treating his girlfriend, one of Andre's best friends, so badly. The pregnant girlfriend of one of the 4 men accused of also murdering Andre has told the court her boyfriend is not a violent man, despite the jury being shown a video of him pointing a shotgun at her. Chloe Jansen, described by the prosecution as the girl in the centre of the feud between the 2 rival groups, which led to Andre's death, appeared as the second witness in a trial at the Old Bailey. Miss Jansen, wearing a black coat with a fur collar, spoke to the court from behind a screen so she could not be seen by the defendant. Throughout her evidence, Miss Jansen appeared frustrated by the constant questions about her on-off relationship with Seller, also known as Fabio. At points, Miss Jansen snapped at the defending barristers, at one point refused to answer any more questions as she was worried about sticking anyone else in it. Miss Jansen knew Andre from the age of 11 and said the pair were quite close friends. However, at the time of his death on August 16th, Miss Jansen said they weren't on good terms because Andre took an issue with the way Seller treated her. She admitted to the jury that Seller had hit her on numerous occasions and that the relationship had its ups and downs like most couples. Miss Jansen also announced that she is pregnant with Seller's child and was expecting to give birth that April. The 18-year-old found out she was pregnant after Seller had been arrested, charged and remanded into custody. Miss Jansen also admitted she had been visiting Seller in prison on a regular basis despite having been advised not to by detectives investigating Andre's death. The 3 young men involved were jailed for a combined 60 years after being convicted of beating and stabbing Andre to death in a pre-planned attack in South London. Rodney 20, Ali 19 were both handed sentences at the Old Bailey for a murder charge on the 19-year-old. Fabio Seller, 19, was sentenced to 16 years after being convicted of a lesser charge of manslaughter. The case says that there was several violent confrontations between them in the months leading up to the murder, is what the police had said. Andre's family had even been moved out of the area, like we spoke about earlier, and Andre, a former pupil of John Ruskin College, was targeted in the area of Monk Hill on August 16th after they found his whereabouts. Seller had attended Croydon University Hospital that day with knife wounds to his head. When asked by the police how he sustained the injuries, he was uncooperative. Seller was later arrested. Police investigating the murder found out 3 knives near the scene, which had been thrown from a car with a metal pole, was found with Andre's blood on it and Seller's DNA.
First tonight, it's an unimaginable loss, losing a child. But then one of your son's killers posts a video online from his prison cell, seemingly mocking his victim. That's what happened to a mother from Croydon. 3 years ago, her 19-year-old son was murdered by a group carrying knives. Yemi Hughes says the footage has left her disgusted and distraught. Bryony Williams reports.
The boy A-Books come a long way from skin fades.
This is Ali Zahawi, a convicted killer.
Boy A-Books come a long way from skin fades. Still fucking locked up, boxed up. But you know, could be worse, could be dead.
It's like he was mocking my son, you know, just that saying, you know, it could be worse, I could be dead kind of thing. It's like, you've actually killed somebody, so, you know, are you like deliberately trying to make a laughing joke out of what you've done to my child? So I was quite angry, and then I got really emotional actually. It was like crying, because why should I still see your face and not see my son? That would throw some people over the edge, and it just shouldn't be allowed. You know, there needs to be more protection for victims' families.
On Monks Hill Estate in 2016, Andre Adaremi was stabbed to death in a pre-planned attack, the result of a gang feud. In a statement, a prison service spokesman said, "We apologise to Ms Hughes for the distress this video has caused and are undertaking cell searches and disciplinary action against Zahawi." The Ministry of Justice says it's spending millions of pounds to try and improve prison security, and anyone found with a mobile phone in prison could face a longer time behind bars. But for Yemi Hughes, at the moment, it's just not enough.
Christmas isn't the same in my house anymore, and that's the reality that we have to live with, you know, but they want to have video phones so they can video call their families at Christmas time. You know, nice for them, because I'll be at the cemetery on Christmas morning. I don't want to be there in the freezing cold, you know, wishing my son was still here with me. I'm still looking at my 19-year-old that was killed and looking at them growing older, you know. My son never had that privilege.
Yemi Hughes knows her son's murderers are facing many years in prison, but she's still in shock over what some can do there. Bryony Williams, BBC London.
Seems like the defendants didn't have any remorse by doing stuff like putting videos on Snapchat, but before they had posed on Snapchat as well, up with weapons, which is absolutely crazy. I want to finish off this video by saying rest in peace to Andre, a young man caught up in a difficult lifestyle that was completely outnumbered when he lost his life. Rest in peace to him. Thank you guys for watching this video. Leave a like and subscribe with the notification bell, and I'll see you guys all in my next one. Peace out.